Hi everyone, from me, Brent Graham, and welcome to this Durban July preview. We're going to be previewing the 6 races that are going to be the most important tomorrow, because we've got a massive pick 6 pool waiting for us. We're going to have a look at all of those and, of course, look at the main race as well. Fortunately, you're not going to be hearing my tips, because what I know is a bit dangerous about horse racing at the moment, but I've got a team of experts in the studio with me here, or spread around the world, I can honestly say. They're going to take us through all of those races. And let me start off with someone who I haven't spoken to. Well, I've spoken to him on the phone, but we haven't been on a show of any kind for many years. Hilton Hassan, the very first guy to advertise with me when I started Sports Review, a similar website to Good for the Game, back in 2005. And you were on my radio show. You, me, Garth Ridgway, Brendan O'Connell, Dermot O'Connell. You remember the days, Hilt?
Yeah, much younger and much better looking, Brent, in those days.
You talking about me or you? Excellent. I'm certainly Dr. Jason, unfortunately, dropping off, but we'll hopefully get him back now. And Hilt, obviously at the moment you're with World Sports Betting. It must be a frantic time for you, the lead up to the Durban July.
Yeah, Brent, unfortunately not as frantic as previous years. It's been low key-ish, I'd say.
Yes,
not knowing what's happening with the crowds, and just everything that's been happening. It's not the type of run-up that we used to over previous years.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously you see the difference from a turnover point of view, but is it really significant, the public interest? Because I'm quite surprised at how interested I am in the event. I didn't think I would be, but I'm quite excited for the July this year.
Yeah, most definitely. And the sad thing is, it's actually a very competitive race this year. You've had these years where it's been quite a weak field, and there's been a lot more interest. I think this year it's pretty competitive. It's a good field, and it would be nice to have a lot more interest.
Excellent. Well, let's go down to the bottom of the screen. He's calling in from the UK, of course. It's Alan Moscrop, a.k.a. Southpaw, and that's on the Good for the Game forum. He was on our Durban July preview the other night. That thing's hits are going through the roof. Of course, everybody loves to read his posts there on the forum. Alan, good to have you in the show. What a cracking day's racing we got in store for us tomorrow.
Evening, Brent. Evening, guys. Yeah, looking forward to tomorrow. I hear what Hilton's saying about the fact it's kind of, lockdown and lack of public interest. What I've seen, though, is just the heightened kind of activity in online, social, these sort of videos as well. Seems to be a lot of those going on. So, you can take your pick this week in terms of, who you can watch, trainers, jockeys, etc. So it's been really good. It's been really good to watch online.
Excellent. Well, looking forward to getting your picks soon there, Alan. Just welcome to the guys in the live chat. I see Oraclepedia, better known in his prime as Oracle Rugby. That's still his Twitter handle. He comes on my Thursday night rugby show. And then Emil Korf. Emil, there's his treble for the day. So if you are in the live chat, please feel free to join us and give us your tips as well. But let's welcome our third and final guest of the night. It's Jason Dedekant. Jason, how you doing, man? We got a big weekend ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Brent. How's it, guys? How's it, Alan, Hilton? Nice to see you again. Last time I saw you was a couple of months ago, and familiar faces. Awesome to see. From our side, it's been a fantastic week leading up to the Vodacom Durban July. Obviously, a couple of the other guys have done podcasts and that for a couple of months now, the history of the July, who's the best horse in the July. But, Brent, indicative, you're doing 2 podcasts for the Vodacom Durban July for Good for the Game. So, like Alan said, everything's just heightened up on social media. Everything's been pushed. World Sports Betting are doing a fantastic job, obviously adding different markets. It's just a pity one of their special doubles was scratched. I'm sure a few people got on to the Lyle Hewitson double, but I think I must be honest. I think they'll rest a little bit easy now, knowing that the second horse is scratched. But it's great to be part of this. It's great. I mean, I miss racing. I miss being part of the action, and it's awesome. And I just want to say thank you for inviting me onto your show.
Excellent. Well, it's great to have you as always. But guys, what I want to start off with just is Hilton with a quick betting update on the July. Hilton, I'm going to bring some prices up now. They're probably not 100% up to date, but bring it up and maybe just let us know who the big market movers are. Then we'll go to race 4 and we'll work our way through the pick 6 and spend a bit more time on the July when we get there. But I'm gonna bring up that betting now. At the time this was sent to me, Bulgarian, they're the 4-1 favorite, Rainbow Bridge 5-1, and then you got 2 other horses in single figures, Got the Green Light and Bunker Hunt. Where's the money coming, Hilt?
Brent, we had our card call on Sunday night. We had Lyle Hewitson and Joey Sommer with us. We offered basically inflated odds on every runner. To be honest, the main money was for Shango, obviously with Lyle, and there's been a lot of money for Got the Green Light. He's currently at 7-1. It's not easy for a 3-year-old to win the July, but he won the Daily News very easily. He beat 3 of the horses that he's up against tomorrow. Little bit of money for Tierra del Fuego as well, and some decent outside money for Twist of Fate. Obviously, he ran 3rd in the race last year. His prep run was good. It's not too much for Bulgarian. He seemed to have gone a little bit cold after the draws came out. Obviously, drawn 17. Do it again. Open 7-1. I think everybody wants him to win because everybody loves a hero. He's won 2 in a row. If he wins 3 tomorrow, he deserves it. But I can't see it from that draw. And obviously, if there's a place tomorrow.
Excellent. I'm going to bring Jason and Alan in later when we talk about the July. But Hilt, I just want to bring up your Durban July promotion as well. Just tell us a little bit about this one.
Yeah, Brent. So we've got 3 or 4. This is quite a nice one. All you ever hear about is punters saying how they backed a horse to run second. So basically, if you do back a horse tomorrow, he does run second, we'll refund your stake and free bets up to a maximum of 2,000 rand.
Excellent. So that's on the main race.
That's a great promo. I mean, it's something that I've always toyed on with the sports betting guys I've represented, and I love the saying every second counts because it's indicative of COVID-19. It's indicative of where we are now. It's just it's fitting, and everybody wants a little bit of money because at the end of the day, Oak backs a second horse. He's going to come back and fire that money plus what he had planned to spend on the next race. So it's a great promo.
Sound like a true punter, Jay.
I'm a true sports betting punter, toad punter, this punter, that punter. But also I understand the back end, how these things work from a sports betting perspective too. And much respect to you boys.
Excellent. Yeah, it's very exciting getting those promos. Unfortunately, with my form in the July, have you got a money back for top 6 special there, Hilt? That'll probably suit me with whatever I'm betting tomorrow. You
can back it with me. You can back it with me. Don't worry, you can back it with me.
Brent, you do. We have got one to run last, so whatever you fancy, you can lump onto that one. You've got a good.
It's funny you say that because I always do a draw, and I'm going to do a draw game this year. It'll just be done online instead of in person with everyone. And we always have a consolation prize for last place. And I think I message you every year, Hilt, and I say, who ran last? Who ran last? Because it's normally quite difficult to tell. And if your horse runs last by far enough, the camera doesn't even see it coming over the line. So, yeah, we'll be interested to see who runs last. Bunker Hunt, yes. I know you and Alan disagree on that, and I know mutual friend of Hilton and myself, Brendan O'Connell, he also likes Bunker Hunt for a big race.
So does Robert Blomberg. Robert Blomberg's tipped Bunker Hunt to Shitten.
Oh, is it? And yeah, Robert Threshoot, I saw he was on Clocking the Gallop on Neil Andrews' show there. But guys, let's get into it, and I want to start with Alan here. Alan, first leg of the pick 6. It's race number 4. The Gold Days over 3,000 meters, and that's off at 1:15. I believe it's a scheduled time there. Take us through any fancies on this race. I know the pick 6 is really difficult. It's going to be tough to find a banker, but perhaps give us your thinking and how you would strategize around this one.
I was reading you coming to me first on this race, to be honest, because it's a minefield. First leg of the pick 6. What 9-2 and upwards. Plenty with chance. I don't have a strong fancy, if I'm completely honest. There's nothing really stands out for me. There's a lot of a couple of younger horses, a couple of 3-year-old fillies. There's a couple of really older horses as well. I actually fancied the Mike de Kock filly in the anti-post before she ran her race the other week, which wasn't a very impressive outing. So she's still fairly there or thereabouts in the betting. So maybe I'll give her another chance if I try and ignore that last run. But nothing really jumps out for me. Possibly Pomanda, the Kock runner at 11-1 each way is probably my only real interest in this race at the moment. Probably have to go very wide in the pick 6.
Yeah, so I'm going to go to Jason now, but just a quick comment. Lee Drennan's come in and said, who's that good-looking guy in the grey jersey? Lee, I'm amazed. After waiting 15 years for him to finally propose to you, you're still so loyal to him. But anyway, Hilt, you've obviously still got it. Jason, let's go to you on this race. You got anything for us?
Well, as you will see the pick 6 a bit later. Sorry, boys. I know it's Friday night, so I'm enjoying a nice glass of wine. It's a minefield. Let's be honest. I think this is it's either a bookmaker's dream if they can balance the books, or it's one of those hit and miss races. So, I got healthy respect for the favorite, Factor 50. She is the best weighted horse in the race if you look at the computer form, and you got to respect that. I've been watching a lot of podcasts this week. Obviously, Sean Terry, John O'Snaith, Robert Blomberg, many others. Obviously, the guys on the panel: Justin Snaith, Mark de Kock, Anthony Delpiche. Nobody's really come out and put their, excuse my French, cock on the block in this race. I like Factor 50. I think she's a worthy favorite. I think 5-1 is a fair price. I don't think she's going to shorten too much more in a race like this. But I know a few boys on social media and the SA Racing Crowd group have got a few doubles and trebles going into her. I like her, and I like a horse called Wealthy. I think, also ran in this race last year. finished very, very well. Was the fastest 400 to finish. I just think a bit of value. I think 8-1 was a bit skinny. What I saw earlier in the week, I was waiting for her to go to 12s, 14-1. I think she can or he can actually get into the race. And Sean Veal's riding very well. Dennis Dreyer, second run after a rest. Doesn't scare me, those second run after a rest scenarios. But if you look past the top couple in the betting, then you've got to put the whole field in. And like I said, in my pick 6, I've gone field. I've included the scratching. Obviously, the 7 Sunshine Silk is now scratching. Only a horse, if I was obviously from a bookmaking perspective, that I'll be looking to lay is probably the 1 Tap and Off. I don't know why. This horse just, it never jumps out at me. It's one of those horses that I always just seems to get beat. I've put it in into my smaller perm reluctantly because you don't want to go out leaving the second favorite out. But I think for me, it's a type of race where you've got to go wide, play with your gut, play with a bit of, see how the horses go down. I know it's a little short trot down to the start at 3,000 meters at Greyville. But yeah, guys, I mean, it's a tough start to the pick 6. I would be leaning to Factor 50 and Wealthy, obviously 2 of the top rated horses in the race.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to go to Hilton now because Hilton, I know you work for WSB, but aside from that, you've been following horse racing all your life. You're a passionate horse racing guy. So put your punter's hat on for a moment. What are we going to put in here in the 4th?
Rich, I'm going to make it a trifecta. Exactly what Ellen and Jason said. The first words I wrote here when preparing for the show is we're starting with an absolute minefield. No doubt. I mean, it is 3,000 meters, first take the pick 6. If I had to go with one horse for value, only one horse, I'd have to look at a horse like Dynasty's Blossom. They had a very similar prep to last year in 2019, ran in the East Coast Cup, which he did this year. Ran on sort of a distance 2,000 meters, way short of his best. He then came out to run second in this race last year, only carrying 1.5 kilograms less. And after that, a month later, went on to win the Gold Cup over 3-2. So if I had to choose one horse, it's Dynasty's Blossom for the value. But apart from that, I mean, you can put in 10, 11, 12 horses and not even be guaranteed of getting through.
This is certainly the sort of race that you just want to get through. And I can't tell you how many times I've gone into a pick 6 and the first leg I've loaded. I've gone field and the jolly favorite ends up winning. And then I find myself caught thin a little bit further back. But let's stay with you for the next race then. You could start us off. It's the second leg of the pick 6. It's race number 5, the Golden Slipper over 1,400 meters. And this is due off at 10-2, Hilt.
Yeah, and it's very easy to say at 7-10, but Carolina looks like the banker on the card. She's 2 from 2. She's won very, very easily. She looks like she is something really special. You know, these big days, especially July, they have a way of finding these horses out, especially these young fillies. You know, when there's 50, 60,000 people at the race course, they come around the bend, suddenly everyone shouts at them and they spook. It's not going to happen this year. It's going to have to be very calm, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of form horses will win tomorrow. There won't be that many surprises. She's coming up against a horse called Delta Queen, who is very rated by Canamare stable. Her last 2 runs haven't been too great, and she's going to pull her socks up if she's going to beat them.
And Hilton, looking at now from a bookmaker point of view, what sort of interest has there been in this one? Has it shortened in the betting?
Yeah, she opened around 12-10 on Monday, and then she's currently sitting at about 7-10 now. There's a lot of doubles going into her, and there'll be a lot of doubles going out of her. You know, you always find on these big days there's 1 or 2 horses that bookmakers need to beat, and then that's their day made, no matter what happens. If she gets beat, then basically the bookmakers are going to have a winning day.
Right, yeah. I was also looking at the card, and I saw it was the only fairly short price. I think it was sort of 7-10 that I could find there. Alan, let's go to you now on this race.
Yeah, I think favourite, obviously, worthy short price favourite, but not my style to be backing at those sort of odds. So I've taken Meladimo. I took her midweek at 8-1 for the win and 15-10 for the place. I think she's shortened in a bit now to around about evens, 11-10 for a place. I always look at these races with short price favourites. You know, got 7-10 for the win, and the next one on the board, 11-10, 12-10 for a place. It's just what I prefer to do is look rather for the place money at a slightly bigger price for the next one down the betting board. But I do like her. She was very green on that win, and I like the trainer jockey combination as well. I think she's got plenty more to come. Obviously not coming down for the holidays, so I do think she can give some cheek. I'm not sure she can win it, but an each way bet weighted to place is where I'm going on Meladimo.
Right, let's go to Jason on this race. Jace, what you got for us?
No, well, I concur with obviously Hilton. Yeah, I think Sean Terry on the Clock in the Gallop show did say that his only concern was the fact that she might get out of her ground with on a hard surface. He said last time out in the yielding going, she was able to, she wasn't well away, but she was able to just plod along and then caught up with the guys and quick and nasty. He says she's got a tremendous turn of foot. He's banking her in his pick six. He thinks that she's got a bigger fish to fry, and he didn't go out and say she's a proverbial penalty kick, but he did say that she should be very hard to beat. So I'm not gonna. That's all the confidence I need from one of our champion trainers. I think Caroluma is the pick six banker. Like Hilton said, I mean the guys are back to in from 12, 13 to 10 into 7 to 10. I've taken a double with her when I got her at even money, so I'm happy with that. The dangers for places, obviously, for me, it's an exacta trifecta quartet race. You bank that with a few little horses there, take it a few times just to get some turnover. Obviously, the 4 Love Bomb, the 5 Afternoon Tea, and Delta Queen come off in a very sandwich run, as Alan alluded to last time out. Comes off a very sandwich performance behind Benici, but they are quality horses. They will be running on nicely at Greyville. And then healthy respect for the money for Maladimo. I think that that shortened from 8-10 to 1 at some bookmakers into, I think it's about 4 or 5 to 1 now with World Sports Betting. You might probably get 6s. Healthy respect for that. So yeah, I would be structuring my bets like that. Bank of the 1 with sort of a exacta quartet type of feel, 4, 5, 7, and 9.
Excellent, Jason. And while I bring up the next race, just to say to you, I mean, here you've got an obvious banker in the pick six. Now, often on when you're looking for that big pick six, you avoid the obvious banker. In other words, you try to beat the banker. But looking at the other 5 legs, it looks like the sort of day that if you catch your banker, you could still catch a huge payout at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think July Day is always that opportunity. I think last year, I don't think the pick six paid too much last year. I might stand to be corrected. But it's all about structuring your bets. I mean, we chatted about this the other day. It's about how you structure your pick sixes, your jackpots, your place accumulators, your bar pots. Your all two comes with World Sports Betting, and obviously it's how you play the day. I mean, it's also if you're there for a bit of fun, if you're there to just have a few bets here and there. It's all about your disposition on the day. I do think there's that is the definite banker of the day. Lyle Hewitson brought home banker last year for the crowd, and they went roaring down Eden Rock, roaring down the finish line. I've put in one other banker in my pick six later on, but having said that, to me it's a boat race. But you've got to take a few chances in days like this. You can't, if you're willing to spend on the tote in particular. If you're going to spend, the maximum you can spend on the tote for a 1% pick six is for R6 is $600. But luckily with World Sports Betting, you can take a 10,000 Rand pick six and spend R100 and get 1%, a percent of a percent, if you know what I mean. So the open bet, unfortunately, as much as the racing administrators hate it, it's got a place with the bookmakers because of the way that things have been, also because of software. So I think if you structure the bet right, sorry to waffle on, but if you structure the bet right, you can make it pay. I would be taking 2 pick sixes on the day, one small one with a few bankers here and there. And if you want to take a cover jackpot or a smaller percentage pick six.
Excellent. Let's go to Alan now then for the third leg of the pick six, race number 6. This, Alan, the Golden Horseshoe. I'm having a look at wsb.co.za on my other laptop here, and I see they're betting 7-2 the field here, Al.
Yeah, I like the Terry runner in this field as well. Obviously, it's a bigger price than the other one. Ecstatic Green. I think she's taking on the boys here. Form lines are really good from her career so far, and I think the last run was excellent. Caught on the line in the last run. I think he was tipped that day by Kevin Turner on the Game Forum. So I'm sticking with her as my main interest in the race. I have the Ruffy. I do think there's a bit of value as you go down the board on this one. I like Royal Pivot at 20-1. To me, it's I really liked it. I know it hasn't won yet, but I really liked that run in the Gate Crasher where it finished third. You watch the replay; they turned for home. He was going really, traveling best of all, I think, at the whole field. Jumped for wide draw that day. He had to drop into the back of the field. Ran on best of all. I haven't seen the exact times, 400 to finish, but I'd be surprised if anything was quicker. And and that was with, I know he carries a bit more weight this time around. He had the Appy claim in that in the gate crasher, but I think this time he gets the Reno on board. Should be stronger ride, good draw. 20-1 for me is a bit of a standout price.
Excellent. When Alan mentions sort of 20-1, anything from 12-1 to 21, I always pay attention. He is known as the double figure man on a Good for the Game forum, especially in the feature races. And someone you mentioned there, Alan, Kevin Turner, well, he really likes to go for the big shots, and it's not unknown for him to pull out the old 66-1 shot. So you can go down. There is a link down below the show here on YouTube. You can go down and you can hit the subscribe button to the show, but you can also go and have a look at what the boys say in the Good for the Game forum. Hilt, I'm going to come to you next on this one. Race number 6, what are we doing?
This is actually one of my better bets of the card after Carolina. The horse called Ashford Castle, number 5. I see that he's in around about 7-2 now. He opened up 8-1 during the week. There was money for him on debut. He shortened from 8-1 into 7-2 very easily. Didn't beat a really strong field, obviously, as a 2-year-old, but what makes this win more impressive than just the paper shows is that the Poinsettia Stakes was the Grade 3 sprint race, which ran three races later. And the winner of that race, Pretty Young Things, did the 400 finish, over 1,200 and 22.1, which is exactly the same time that Ashford Castle did his 400 finish. As a 2-year-old, on debut, carrying 58.5 kgs. And anybody knows, in racing knows it's almost impossible to win at Castle first time out. So to pull off that type of finish, I think he's very good. Obviously, we've only seen him once. I think he looks like he's the business. I'm not 100% sure about Eric the Red, multiple winner from Cape Town. I don't think he's as good as anybody says he is. Ecstatic Green, I think, is probably the danger, but one of my best bets of the card is Ashford Castle.
Ashford Castle, handy price. They're also 7-2 joint favourite at the moment. Jason, we haven't got your opinion on this race yet. What do you fancy here?
Yeah, I'll be quick here because I seem to waffle a little bit. I like Ecstatic Green. I think that's the horse to beat for me. Third run after a rest. I really like the way that she moved up to Vinici last time out and just got touched off. Healthy respect for Eric the Red. I know Hilton's not dismissing the horse, but I think this horse deserves another chance, especially right-hand turn at Greyville. I think that the stable thinks very highly of this horse. Also, listen, with respect, the 2 Royal exhibits, I like what Mr. Moscrop has to say there. Gate crasher, I don't have to wait with Gold Season still, but you go from Jacobs to Lorena, it's worth a few lengths with respect to him, and I don't think it's a cut and dried race. I'm going to touch on Ashford Castle now because Hilton's touched on a very poignant point here. The fact that 22.1, 400 to finish at Scottsville, up that little incline, it's made me take notice right now. So this is what these podcasts are about, making the so-called experts also just admire the other experts and saying, shit, but you've got something here. Robert Bloomberg on the other podcast said that this is one of the horses he holds in the highest regard, and it is also one of his better bets on the card too. So either Hilton's been watching podcasts, or they just these Capetonians seem to just stick together. So for me, listen, Brent, I like the 3. I think I've had a each way bet on her when she was a little bit of a bigger price. I like Sean Terry when he puts the fillies against the boys. I think the danger for me on paper is Eric the Red, but having said that, Ashford Castle does jump out the form book right now. You've got to include a horse like Gold Season, also a bit of money for him, and then the 2 Royal Exhibit, and one more horse I want to just tell the guys. If you're not going to go 3, 4, 5 and play it short and play the favourites, you've got to add in the horse number 10, Norbis. I don't know how you say it, but Cornet Spies, you can't leave him out. I like the way this horse won last time out. No stamina doubts with the 1,400. He doesn't bring horses down to KZN for nothing. Bit of money for the horse. So, yeah, open race. My first selection is a 3. Healthy respect for the 4 and 5. But if your budget allows, throw a few extra in for the 2-year-old spook of the day.
Excellent. Well, we'll have a look at your pick 6 at the end there. Of course, we're now going to be moving on to the big race. And just a reminder very quickly about the 100% deposit bonus available at World Sports Betting. So Yeah, that's a big one. I generally use that every year, and then I know there are certain T's and C's there, and it takes me a while to wear it down, but it's certainly worthwhile because it's a cracking offer. But Hilt, I'm going to start you off, and you've already touched on where the money's come in the July. Now I want to know from you, what is your fancy for the Durban July?
Oh, Brent, I think by now we've probably seen about 812 previews. People have made up their minds. It's one of those races where the bare form means nothing. So I think a lot of people have made up their minds. Just before we go, we do have one other special for our listeners on Do It Again. Obviously, I did allude to the fact that he's going for the 3 in a row. And that's up until the race stage. You're too good for this, Brent. You should think of it. So basically, if you take a bet on Do It Again, and he does win tomorrow, we'll double your winnings in free bets. So at the moment, he's 13 to 1. You get 26 to 1, up to a maximum of 2,000 Rand.
Excellent. Another great promo there. He'll keep on talking while I take that promo down. I thought I'd try a few new things today, but it's always interesting when you're producing and hosting the show at the same time. Anything else to add on the July if you were taking swingers?
Yeah, I would love to throw in a horse like Miyabi. She's came into the race last year at a 105 carrying 52 kgs. She's now 115 carrying the same weight. If you watch the replay last year, it was quite a slow pace. And she got caught. Samanga Kumado had her caught on the rail as they went home. Do It Again went to the outside and got the break on them. And she was probably held up for about 100 meters. Managed to find a gap, ran on strongly for 5th. She's a multiple winner at the course. Her run in the East Coast Cup showed that she's 100% spot on. And I think at 35 to 1, she's definitely running my books.
Excellent. I've heard a few people mention it as well. But Jason, let's go to you next. First of all, I want to start off. I know on our Durban July preview that we did on Wednesday night, your headline selection was Vardy, and I remember one comment you made about Vardy because it had opened, I believe, at 5 to 1, and it drifted at the time to 10 to 1, and now I see 13 to 1. And you said to me, it doesn't bother me that Vardy is drifting, not a punting stable, and as far as you're concerned, the bigger the drift, you'll just catch a bigger price at the end of the day.
Yeah, Brent, the problem with Vardy, and it's been well documented this week, is does he stay? I mean, that's the question. It all depends on how the race is going to pan out. The more and more I look at it, am I confident in my selection? No. I think Rainbow Bridge is the horse to beat. If I had to just purely put down my selections, if I was tipping for computer form back in the day, Rainbow Bridge would be my first selection. But I always look for horses at a bit of value to beat the favourites. So for me, Vardy, maybe it's a sentimental sort of thing because I'm quite close to Glenn Marcus and obviously the Marcus stable. I'm hoping that they can pull off a nice Queen's Plate Vodacom Durban July double. I do think he's going to be a runner. I do think he'll be right there at the end, no matter what. I think Craig Zacky's matured as a jockey. I think draw 9 suits him. He doesn't want to be drawn too wide, doesn't want to be drawn on the rail because not that type of horse. He's quite a quirky horse. So I give Vardy a very, very big shout. Having said that, Rainbow Bridge, definitely everything in his favour. The draw, the current SA elect champion jockey, the trainer's doing well. I'm glad they finally found a jockey for Golden Ducat. I mean, as we were talking the other night on Tuesday night, at least they found Donovan Dillon to ride that. But, Rainbow Bridge, there's nothing wrong. Second run after arrest was a very easy winner last time out. I know I said that Vardy, would have beaten him another 50 meters. Rainbow Bridge did what he needed to do. It was a very clever ride by Warren Kennedy, and that's what you need in the race like this. You need, everybody says, I listened to Anthony Delpeche and Warren Kennedy the other night and Justin Snaith, Mark the Cock. Anthony says you need horses, but you also need smart jockeys. You need jockeys with a bit of chutzpah, a little bit of patience, and the like. And going to Do It Again and your double, Hilton, I mean, that's a fantastic double because you arguably have the best jockey in terms of performance in the country riding Do It Again from 18 draw. It's been there, done that, won it 5 times, I think it is. So, it's a fantastic initiative from you guys. I think Do It Again's a massive runner. So I've mentioned my top 3. The fourth, like I said last time out, was between Bulgarian and Socrat. Mark de Kock gave so much confidence on the show last night about Socrat that I've got to stick it in. And then Bulgarian too. I mean, Justin Snaith was asked who basically, if he had to have a quartet, who his roving banker would be, he said Bulgarian. So obvious stable, Bulgarian's obviously the stable elect, but he's got healthy respect. Justin's always trying and he's always honest to his owners and tries to dodge a bullet now and again. But healthy respect. But Maori Gold, not something I've put in, I must be honest. But the more and more I look at this horse, the more and more I hear people talk about it. 100% right. Running off a 115 this year, 105 last year. Anthony Del Pez said that's the dark horse of the race. It's got no stamina doubts. And if you look at a lot of the leading contenders, besides like the Rainbow Bridge, drawn 2, healthy favourites. Do It Again, drawn at the mosque in West Street in Durban. No stamina doubts, but the rest, there are stamina doubts. What is Bulgarian beaten? What is can Vardy stay the trip? Got the green light, the 3-year-old versus the older horses. I'm a Vardy fan purely because I think there's tremendous value, and I like the way he quickens off a penny. I know Bunker Hunt quickened past him in the drill hall, and I know I've gone on record and said I didn't want to say that the horse can't win. I didn't say it can't win on our show last Tuesday, but Robert Bloomberg and a few others have gone out and said that this is their July horse. So, this is what it is. You can be proud and stick to your guns, or you can also just listen to industry experts. So I'll be throwing Bunker Hunt into the mix when I take my pick 6, and that obviously for a smaller percentage. But I definitely think Vardy, for me, sentimental value horse to beat.
Excellent. Well, just before I go to Alan for his picks, welcome to Joe Lyons in the live chat saying, might be time for me to get a haircut, a bit of a mullet forming there. I can tell you, yes, Joe, I want to grow my hair as long as I can. I've set myself a weight limit when I can cut it. And the way my weight loss is going, it could be quite a while. But I have not had a haircut since lockdown. I can tell you that much. So thanks for noticing, mate. But Al, let's get to you. I know in your case, you liked Soccer. That was sort of 12-1 on Wednesday. There has been some money for it, or certainly some market move. And I see now at WSB, we got 10-1.
Yeah, I think the benefit of doing the show on Tuesday night is that it's quite early in the week, so we're not overly influenced by all the other shows that come on since then, and the press coverage. So I think it was quite nice doing that. But you've got your own thoughts out, and you kind of get your own early picks on before seeing all the others. And obviously, there's some real valued opinions coming on some of those shows. And we obviously had Socrat, obviously from the anti-post bet. That's an obvious interest. Obviously, see money for that. As Jake said, Mike de Kock was quietly bullish on the show last night. He didn't stick his neck out, but he was very confident in the horse's prep, the shift down to Sommerfeld. So that was a pretty positive sign. I was very interested in Justin Snaith's comments about Bunker Hunt, and effectively he was saying that if the best Bunker Hunt pitches up, he's the pick of the lot from his stable. That's what I read from his comments. Mike de Kock, when pushed for a prediction, he said Bunker Hunt best of the Snaith, finish first of the Snaith 5 runners as well. So again, all interesting stuff. These are horses that I liked on Tuesday night: Bunker Hunt, Socrat, and Shango. So at the moment, that's going to be my staking plan. I'm not changing. I haven't seen anything else that really caught my eye. Miyabi Gold, totally get the views now that have been stated that she comes in nicely weighted and no problem over the distance, no problem over the track. So maybe I didn't give her a decent look on the Tuesday night, but probably one who could be sneaking into the quartet for me. But yeah, still very much in Soccer camp, Bunker Hunt, Swingers, and then a bit of an each way on Shango as well.
Excellent. And just to mention, Alan, you got on anti-post on Sacred. I think you got 66-1, and you posted it on the Good for Going forum. I managed to get 55-1, so I'll certainly be shouting that home with you. And great to have those sort of big prices going in. I think you mentioned Shango. You were also on anti-post. But Alan, I'm going to stay with you and go on to the next race. Then it's the Garden Province. It's the 5th leg of the pick 6. If we're still running at this stage in the pick 6, Alan, we're starting to get pretty nervous and pretty excited, no doubt, tomorrow. This race taking place over 1,600 meters, and we got a 18-10 favorite here in Celtics C, 33-10 Clouds Unfold, and you can get 9-1 and better the field.
Yeah, so Garden Province, normally my favorite race on the July card. It's just to me, it's always a class field. From a few years ago when Beach Beauty was winning it a couple of times in a row, that's always my favorite horse I've ever followed and backed. Beach Beauty, amazing filly mare. It's not a great betting race for me because it's not the sort of prices I tend to get involved. So when you've got a bit of a boat race at the top of the betting board, I naturally start to kind of look a little bit further down. And I did like the Snaith runner. I took it 14-1 before the Tuesday show. It's come into It's coming to 12-1 now, I think. I haven't seen the latest odds.
Yeah, 12-1. So that's sleeping single, eh?
Single, yeah. I watched it. I went back and watched as many replays as I could. I think the replay in the big race down in the Cape in January, February, where she ran against the top sorts. I think she ran against Celtics and Clouds Unfold in that race. I think that's the race that Clouds Unfold won. She ran a good race. To me, it ran a really good race. I give 3.5 lengths back. She ran on from the back of the pack. So to me, another thing that it stands out for me is that she's bred in Northern Hemisphere. So effectively, she's racing as a 4-year-old, but she's actually a bit younger than the current 4-year-olds. So she's born. It's the way the kind of Northern Southern Hemisphere works. So she's actually under sufferance in a way based on the fact that she's just a younger 4-year-old than these SA bred horses. And I think the last run in Greyville was impressive. She ran behind her stablemate, Sylvana's Pride, and I think it's pretty happy with the run. She showed that she took to the track. She's a little bit green on the bend, a little bit green on the right hand track bend for that run. But I'd hope that they saw something that they like and they put her into this race, not just to make up the field. And 15-10 for the top 4. Probably a little bit shorter than that for the top 4 for a place, and then 14-1 for the win. It's just where I like to bet in these sort of races. I know massive respect for the top 2. I wouldn't be surprised if most punters just stick the top 2 in their terms, but I've got a sneaky feeling for the Snake One, a sleeping single.
Excellent. Well, after your justification and given your record, Alan, and obviously you can't hit these all the time, but you hit them more often than most people, I can tell you. So I'll certainly be including that one. Let's go to the top of the screen and get Hilton's opinion on this race.
Yeah, Bridget, looks like either race in 2 or you got to go wide. It just looks like that race. And I 100% agree with Alan. This is usually one of my favorite races on the card. These champion fillies that have come out of this race. Even going back to the old days when I first started in the industry, horses like Dancing Danzig and then Beach Beauty, 3 times. I think she won it 3 times in a row, didn't she?
Yeah.
And then she actually recently went to stud, and her first offspring, a horse called Wild Coast.
Wild Coast, yes.
On the Guineas, and it was his first run at Greyville. It just goes to show, obviously, that's because Beach Beauty was that good at Greyville. It just sort of came down through the family, and then he came. I think it was 25-1 when he won the Guineas. But anyway, Celtics, she's done absolutely nothing wrong. You'd think now that she's multiple Grade 1 winner. She won over 1,200 meters. She won this race last year over 1,600. You just keep thinking to yourself, how far and how better can she get? She just seems to carry on improving. Clouds Unfold was unfortunate last season. She got injured about a week before she came down for the KZN season, so we never got to see her in KZN. But she is something special. She's won on the last 2 Met days. I remember the last Met day, and she was 10 or 12-1 running with the strong favorite, and she beat them, and then obviously she won again this year. So personally, I think it's a race in 2, but healthy respect for the Paris-Snaith combination always. But I am battling the winner coming out from either one of those top 2.
Right, so let's see what Jason says now. So we got a race in 2. I can see Hilton's leading in that direction. And we got Alan who's going a bit wider. Jason, are you narrowing it down in this one in your perm? Is this maybe where your other banker comes in?
You see my selections, Brent?
I believe it or not, I did. I mean, I obviously saw, but I didn't note it at all. And as I was saying it now, I thought, I bet you I'm right, and you're going to think I looked at his selections. But no, I just thought Celtic sees a potential likely banker.
Well, this is how I see the race. I see a bit of pace in the race. Obviously, 1,600 meters, Greyville. It's a good race. It's my favorite race in the day. So we've got a lot of things in common in terms of this panel. You look at horses in the race, horses like Vistula, Sleeping Single, Distance Specialist. There's been a bit of money for both of those horses in the anti-post market. A horse like Temple Graffin, also like well weighted in the race. When I say well weighted, obviously in the computer form, there's the well weighted column on the right, or best weighted column on the right hand side. It's the 3rd best weighted horse in the race. And you're going to look at that and weigh it up and say, is Temple Graffin on the best of its form? Can it challenge the top 2 on the boards? I'm not so sure it can. And you look at for the improving sorts. Having said that, I think Clouds Unfold is a 1,600 meter specialist. I think she will. I think definitely have the measure of Celtic Sea on the day. I make Clouds Unfold my 2nd best bet on the card. 7-2. I've taken the double, even money into 7-2, 8-1, 9-1, whatever you can get. I know the horses have shortened now, so maybe if you can get 6-7-1, talk to Hilton nicely. He might give you some of that. I just think that this horse over 16, if it's 1,200-1,400 meters, bring Celtics Sea into the race. I think she can steal it up the inside rail like she did last year. But I think Clouds Unfold for me will be mowing her down late on the outside. I think the horse is ready to win. Like Hilton said, last year didn't really go away. Definitely the horse to beat for me, Clouds Unfold. And I think the prices are definitely wrong. I wouldn't be having one at 14-10, another one 33-10, 7-2. Not necessarily at World Sports Betting. I think they should be closer in the market, maybe 2-1, 5-2 the pair. The only other horse that I want to mention is a horse called Driving Miss Daisy, number 11 on the card. The reason I want to mention this is twofold. I watched the July Gallop with Rainbow Bridge. This horse was cantering next to Rainbow Bridge. It was like it was a seasoned Grade 1 runner. So as these young horses improve, we need to take notice of that. I'm always one to watch horses in the gallops running with the bigger horses. I think Driving Miss Daisy put up a phenomenal gallop with Rainbow Bridge. Garbanaba Tony Ridgway on Facebook, SA Racing Crowd, will concur with that because he's taken the double Rainbow Bridge into this. He's a massive Rainbow Bridge fan, paints and sketches all these horses. But getting back to the play, I think Driving Miss Daisy runner, blinkers have gone on, which will sharpen her up too. So I think she's a definite quartet horse. I don't think she's in the class of Clouds Unfold just yet. I think there's a lot to discrepant between the two. I'm a big Clouds Unfold fan. I think very hard to beat. I'll be taking the exact Clouds Unfold by Celtic Sea and Driving Miss Daisy.
Excellent. Well, no doubt about it. I hadn't looked at your selections because I might have picked the right race for a banker, but I picked the wrong horse that I thought you would banker. So I was definitely wrong on that one.
What do you like, Brent? Come, give us a tip. What do you like, Brent?
Most years I will give you something.
I haven't studied. Because
I'm genuine. I haven't studied. This is genuinely. That's why I've got you guys here, man. You guys are going to make me some money tomorrow. Normally I do, and I will still study up a bit. But quite frankly, my version of studying these days for the races is I normally look at what Alan's posted on the forum. I normally look at what Kevin Turner's posted, and I normally look at what Brendan O'Connell, who posts under the name Coyle, has posted. And I normally take their horses and I try and form a pick six out of that. The only problem is when you're following three guys like that is you follow one guy on one race and he misses and someone else hits. So you change to the other guy and then the other guy hits. But that's normally my strategy. So I don't have a strong fancy, but I am definitely going at the pick six. And I'll post my pick six for what it's worth on the Good for the Game forum tomorrow. And I'm obviously going to look for probably a banker and maybe another race. We'll have maybe one or two. What I would do based on hearing you guys here, I would probably take the top two on the boards and the sneaking single, and maybe even throw in Driving Miss Daisy as a roughie. But at the end of the day, we all know with these pick six perms, if you want to load 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 horses, it gets too expensive in the end. So you're going to have to take a stand at some point there. But yeah, honestly, no real strong fancies for me. But looking forward to, Jason, what you guys think then of the last leg. This is run over 1,200 meters. It's due off at 1620, sorry. Now, if I'm still in the pick six at this point, there's going to be big excitement in the Graham household. What do you like in this one?
Well, if you look at the race, Golden Bell was weighted to win. But having said that, the rating that she had achieved, I think she got a 22-point penalty for one of her wins. So with respect, I think that rating was a little bit inflated. But having said that, she won well the other day at the Val. But let's scrap her out the race. She's not there. She's parking off Cheesy in Joburg in the Sean Terry stables. For me, the horse to beat is Cartel Captain. Healthy respect for that. Third run after arrest. Tries the poly track for the first time, but has never given anything away that would suggest that the poly won't suit. I think that's the horse to beat. It's not my outright selection. My outright selection comes in the form of number 5, Gallic Princess. Second run after arrest, but since being fitted with blinkers, this horse has run really well. It is the best weighted horse in the race now. Yes, off the turf rating of 112 in terms of the race rating. I think Gavin Larena has got a tremendous strike record for the Candace Dawson stable. Yes, that's
I had to bring that up.
Can I bring my dogs and cats in too? Can I bring it? They love it. They're missing it.
Yeah, lucky for
better than me.
Reminds me of Gary Lenton with his dog on my show a few times.
Is that the beard? Does he call his beard the dog? Now, listen, getting back to the last leg of the pick six, I think that for me, I'll keep it short and sweet. The horse to beat is the one based on what it's achieved, where it's run, and all the rest of it. The two horses that can improve, when I say improve, I mean can get the better of a quality horse, are the 4 and 5 Rio Karari and the 5 Gallic Princess. Healthy for respect for the Battle of Trafalgar. Obviously, done very well since being gelded. If you look down the list, African Warrior, if that repeats its juvenile form, can get into the mix, but it has to show me a little bit more form before I improve it. And then one last horse I want to throw in just for the guys out there that want to just obviously don't want to go out in the last leg of the pick six. Guys might laugh at me, but I really do value a little bit of the Fairview form, particularly on the poly track. And I think this horse, Who's of Troy, if you're going wide, like 5 or 6 horses in the race, don't leave this house. This horse's poly track form is good, and I think this horse will be running on strongly at the end. So for me, that's a definite quartet inclusion. If you want to go wider than 4 horses in the pick six, throw the 12 in Who's of Troy.
Excellent. Before I go over to the other guys, I was asked what my best bet is. There it is, over 49.5 points to the Crusaders against the Hurricanes tomorrow morning.
I still can't believe you're doing podcasts and all the shit for Australia and New Zealand rugby. I mean, they want to kick us out, and you're still supporting them. Come on, Brent, you need to shine up.
Well, I must tell you something. I mean, look, there's no South African rugby to do anything on. So, and I can tell you, I mean,
we can have a game. The 4 of us can have a game. Touch rugby in the courtyard.
But I've been amazed, and I'm sure Alan will agree with me as well, the amount of enthusiasm for particularly the New Zealand tournament, because we were starved of rugby for so long, and suddenly it came back, and unbelievable how people have just got into the New Zealand rugby. But yeah, I've got no problem leaving as long as we get to see the New Zealand rugby on TV and I can bet on it. I don't really mind. I'd like more afternoon South African games. Yeah, no problems with that. Al, first of all, before you go into the race, what do you think of that over 49.5 in Crusaders Hurricanes?
Yeah, you know me, Brent. I'm an overs punter. This morning, had a great 4-4 in the last week, 4 rugby games, and then I thought I was really confident this morning. Took the overs halftime, 29 points. Oh, jeez, and I took 49.5 overs. So you think 29 at halftime, you're pretty much.
It was 55.5 at halftime. You would think you're there. You would think you're home.
Yeah, so it just dried up, and that's just the way it goes. I'm also enjoying the rugby. That Sunday morning game's a killer for me because obviously it's 5:30 for you guys, 4:30 for me. So a couple of times I've got up to watch it, and then that's the rest of your day. It's a bit of a long day, getting up at 4:30 in the morning. So, but I like the overs definitely in that Saturdays game. Looks a decent shout. On this race here, I think it's taken 9 races for me and Jason to get aligned here, and we are aligned. I looked at Cartel Captain. I couldn't see much getting ahead of it other than the filly. The Dawson filly, Gallic Princess. I liked her last win was, effortless. She looks really promising sort. So to me, I'm just putting those 2 in at the moment. I haven't looked wider than that. I was just looking for something to beat the dry runner, and she was the only one that stood out for me. So probably swingers, exacta, the pair, and maybe go a little bit wider for the pick 6 in with 3 and 4.
Excellent. Hilt, finish it all for us on this, and then we'll get everyone's opinion on the balance of the card.
Yeah, not too much difference either, Brenty. Our Gallic Princess is definitely improving. Obviously, taking on a lot stronger than she has been taking on. Cartel Captain now with Golden Bell out the race. I think she is probably the one to beat. If you are going to throw the horses in, you need to look at horses like Enjoy the View. Horse like African Warrior is a multiple stakes winner at Greyville. His career as a 2-year-old, he was phenomenal. One of the best 2-year-olds. Hasn't really trained on as Canamo horses seem to not do. I don't think there's many Canamo horses that train past 5. So it's just something about their horses. I think they get worked very hard and then they don't train on. But if African Warrior comes back to best, we'll be in the shake-up. But I think Jason's covered most of the field. If you go 3 or 4, the last thing you want to do is go out in the last leg, but you don't want to go and throw in field and end up the top 2 arriving and you end up getting 5% instead of 3%.
No, so exactly.
Gallic Princess, African Warrior, Enjoy the View.
Excellent. Well, it looks like one we can certainly narrow our selections down on. But Hilt, I'm going to stay with you before we get into our best bets. Anything else on the card that takes your eye, or if it's covered in your best bet, then rather leave it for that.
Yeah, let's leave it, Brett. I don't want to spoil it.
Okay. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up each of your best bets now, and you guys can run us through it. And if there's anything else outside of that you want to mention, go for it as well. So let me do that quickly. I going to start off with you, Yelt. Let's start off with your bets. Take us through these.
Yeah, Brent, I've obviously gone through Ashford Castle, but I've got 2 value bets. First race to get some money and ammunition, and the last race where you haven't got anything left in your pocket. So first race, Sunset House, number 7. I think he's somewhere around 16 to 1 at the moment. He is getting on a bit.
20 to 1, I can confirm, Hilt, on your side at the moment.
Yeah, well, he's open 10, and then since I've told everybody, he seems to not even book betting appreciates my opinions. He's been to the course 3 times on the body track. He's won 3 times. He's won 3 times very easily. The last time that he did one at the track, he lost a shoe in running, which, as you know, for any horse to lose a shoe in running, that's basically the end of their race. But he ended up kicking on. His last run in Joburg was way below his best, but he just has an affinity to the body track. Admittedly, he's 5 kgs out from Chimichurri Run, but Chimichurri Run has never run at this course before. And there's a big difference between running on grass and running on sand. I mean, Brent, you and I know at our weight, you can walk on the grass, and you go walk on the beach, and at 120 kgs, you're going to sink a bit. And that's basically the difference between being on body track and being on the grass.
And you're just saying that because you've lost like 20 kilos over lockdown.
Yeah, 25, I had to say.
You had to throw that in. Thanks, but
I do think, especially now at 20 to 1, I know he's getting on, but he's won at the course before. He's beaten graded stakes company before. When he beat a horse like Mardi Gras, who came out and won the Merchants, in that race, Mardi Gras beat a horse called Warrior's Rest. Warrior's Rest came out and won the Grade 1 Gold Horseshoe Sprint. So the horses that he does beat, they're good horses. He doesn't come out for these bad form lines. If he's right tomorrow at 20 to 1 and probably 6 to 1 a place, he's definitely the value for me. Moving on to the last race, which is another nice price at 14 to 1. I think he's 14 to 1, Brent, born to perform.
He's 13. In fact, yeah, he's 13, but I imagine now that you've tipped him, he'll go 16.
Well, first of all, one of probably the best bred horses on the card tomorrow is Silvano, out of a mare called Dancer's Daughter, who won the July in 2008. She was phenomenal. He's good, very good. 3 months ago, over the course and distance, he beat a horse called Capoeira and Campharatus, who were both in the July. He beat a horse called Triskel, who's running in the, I think, his favorite or second favorite in the 2200 Consolation. Raced at the course 4 times. Course and distance, won 3 of them. Run second, drawn 10. Really, really is a massive runner, and I honestly cannot see him finishing out the first 3. In fact, he is one of my better value bets that I've seen in a long time. 14 to 1. I honestly think that he's definitely one to have a bet on.
Excellent. I must say, when you hear someone talk like that with justify a horse like that, it's hard not to get excited. And I think my main challenge tomorrow is going to be narrowing down my selections, but that's certainly going to be one of them. That's horse. That's in race number 10. That's the final race on the card. I guess a couple of things to note is the July is earlier than normal. It's at 3:10, and also that there's normally 12 races, and of course we've only got 10. But Hill, thanks very much. Anything else to add there before we move on to Jason's bets?
No, Brent, I think another one for the punters in the race. In race 3, number 2, Sovereign Secret. Also, I think he's 7 to 2 at the moment. He also ran about a length and a half behind Capoeira. Had all types of things go wrong. So for PAs, I think you start off with number 2, Sovereign Secret.
Excellent. That's Hilton Hassan's best bets. Let's go and see what Jason, take us through your best bets, and also just run us through your pick 6 there, please.
Okay, cool. Obviously, I've chatted quite a lot about my best bets, Caroluma and Clouds Unfold. I think that punters out there and the good for the game followers understand where I come from. Caroluma, 2 from 2. Clouds Unfold, for me, the better 1,600-meter horse than Celtics C, buying them down late. I expect 2 decent runs, and I definitely expect him to challenge the finish. So I think those are my definite 2 best bets. Race 2, I've gone for a horse number 2, Stellar Act. 3rd run after arrest, finished 4th behind Caroluma last time out. If you look at the line in that race, Vinici drawn 14 now. A few others, a bit of money for Dandolo. Obviously, beat Stellar Act in the barrier trial, but these barrier trials in KZN for me are a laugh. I don't think anybody really tries there. I think Stella Act was 16-1 on Tuesday night when we had the show, Brent, and we mentioned the horse. It's now currently trading at about 10-12-1. I'm not sure what World Sports Betting
Even
got.
8-1. The money's even come for it more. So we've got 8-1.
Even more tonight, so 8-1 now. That was, I mean, we mentioned it on Tuesday night, and a few guys on your betting forum have mentioned Stella Act as one of their value bets too. So I think that's a horse to really put into the bar pots and that, and have an each way nibble on. Domeyer for the apprentice. And then race 10, number 7, Hoodoo Magic. I'll race Hilton home for a beer. I think this horse is also, knocking there and thereabouts. I know Brett Crawford did a podcast during the week, and it was noted that he said this is one of his better runners on the card. He expects this horse to go very close. I know the guys are talking about the 4 Crown Towers as the other best bet on the card besides Caraluma. I'm going to play to beat it. Obviously, it's also the last leg of the second jackpot. Punters out there mustn't forget that this is the last leg of the second jackpot. Second jackpot starts in the main race 7, 8, 9, and 10. You can get it on with World Sports Betting, take a percentage. I do think that Hoodoo Magic will be right there. Guys also commented on not how poor the Booker ride Anton Marcus got, but at the prices he's riding. And I do think this is one of his better rides on the card. And if you had to throw one more in there, I do agree with Hilt. I think Sovereign, the horse in the third race, Sovereign Secret, definite runner. I think it's been primed to win a race of this caliber, and I think it'll be right there. Going through my pick 6, sorry, I'm just scrolling back to the front of the computer form here to talk you through it. Obviously, the first leg I've gone field. I've included the scratching of the 7 Sunshine Silk, just in case the favorite wins and you double up. I haven't put in the 17 or 18, but we can obviously just, this is recorded Friday night. Have a look tomorrow morning for your scratchings. Then I've gone 1 Caraluma Banker. I've then added in the horses 3, 4, 5, 8, and 10, which are Ecstatic Green, Eric the Red, Ashford Castle, Gold Season, and Norbis. And if you want to add one more in, listen to our man Ellen and add in the 2. And then race 7, you can put whatever you like in here. I won't talk you out of it. I've narrowed it down just to horses that I feel really will give a good challenge for the title. I've gone 2, 5, 9, 17, and 18. First selection, the 9 Vardy. Then I've bankered the 13 Clouds Unfold. And then at the back, I've gone a little bit short. I've gone 1 Cartel Captain, before Rio Karari, and the 5 Gallic Princess. It's 1,200 Rand will give you a full percentage. If you want to take 1%, it's $12. If you want to take 10%, 120 Rand. Simple maths. I'm just looking forward to a great day's racing. I'm looking forward to taking a beer off my mate Hilton, and I'm looking forward to actually him inviting us down to Cape Town to drink what's on the table behind him, because during lockdown we are a bit short.
They're all empty. They're there for show.
And Jace, I think you're also looking forward to him actually delivering the beer, not like the beer and the lunch that you won off me, which you're still waiting for.
Yeah, but that's I've written that off now, Brent. I mean, it's been 8 years in the making.
8 years.
Since 8 years, I'm old and grey now. I've got sideburns. I put on weight during lockdown, unlike Hilton, who's lost 25 kgs. He's looking like they used to say a Backstreet Boy, but there's so many different bands these days that we could match him to. But guys, it's a fantastic day, and it's fantastic to be part of this panel. Talk a bit of shit with you boys. Try and put the good for the game boys into the right order. There's been so many, like Alan said, there's been so many. I'm glad we did the show on Tuesday, and I'm glad we're doing the show tonight, because a lot can change in a few days. You listen to a few of the professional trainers out there, and your opinion can change. So I'm still sticking to my guns and to my 2 bets. I'm still sticking to my guns with my value bets, but I like what I've heard on the panel tonight, and the guys out there must just have a bit of fun, play wisely, play with World Sports Betting, obviously as the sponsor of this show. They can have a bet with the other bookmaker that we did Tuesday night show with, but they must play majority with World Sports Betting.
Look at Hilton having a good chuckle. Alan, let's get on to your best bets.
Yeah, I'll keep it short. I know we've been going on for a little while. So obviously we covered the first race 9, race 8. I've put this in as place bets because obviously they're quite they're both pretty big odds. So I think if you take the double, the pair should be about 7-2 or so. So maybe a place double on the 2, or back numbers outright as well. Evens and about 12-10. My value bets we've gone through. Royal Exhibit was 20-1 each way. Race 6. So I've gone. I won't talk about that one anymore. Race 2, I guess I'm going up against Jason here. Winter Stories, each way, see 10-1 on World Sports Betting. I just like this one. I thought, obviously ran in the SA Nursery last time out behind the very good Mike de Kock pair, and seems a pretty good gate speed. So I'm hoping that will help him get across from that slightly wide draw in this race. And I just think the yard's been going pretty well up on the high felt, and Musi keeps the ride. So for me, 10-1 Winter Stories is my each way value bet of the day.
Excellent, Alan. Thanks very much, guys. Thanks very much. It's been a brilliant show. We've come in exactly on the hour. That's quite a lot shorter than your card call the other night, Hilt.
Yeah, and on that note, Jason, when you say I'm not going to waffle, how long is it when you actually do waffle? Just asking.
It's a little bit longer, but when you're serious about this game, and Hilt, I mean, as a bookmaker, it's either black or white. I mean, you've got to make a choice and balance your book. But as a form studier and somebody that also tries to enlighten the public and try and have a bit of humor with the public, I know you've lost 25 kgs, but you've got to laugh a bit. You've got to smile and get that gears going, boy.
To carry 25 kgs was not lost during lockdown. Okay, let's just get something right.
Geez, I thought you might have been on a slow puncture diet.
Listen, while we've got three racing people, can we just discuss one quick point? It's something that's bugged me for months, and I'm not sure how everybody else feels about it. And it's this persistent KZN idea of draws and saddlecloth numbers being aligned. To me, it is pathetic. I cannot believe that we're going into the Durban July tomorrow with a horse like Do It Again, top weight, carrying saddlecloth 18. And we've got a horse like Golden Decat at 52 kgs carrying saddlecloth 1. It is pathetic. It is not what racing is about. If they want to do what they want to do, novelties, and go ahead, but don't do it with a race with 120 years of history. I'm sorry, I didn't agree with it when it first happened, and I think that it's an absolute joke. It's a disgrace to have a horse that you own being top weight, best horse in the race, not being number 1, and the lowest weight not coming in number 80. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if it's me being Generation X versus Millennial, but as far as I'm concerned, I think it's a disgrace.
I must say, before the other guys come in, when I hosted the show on Tuesday or Wednesday night, and I was looking at the numbers and the draws, I actually didn't mention the draws because I thought, no, this must be a typo. I've never seen a race where the horse 3 is always drawn 3, that type of thing. So anyway, guys, any opinion on that?
And then you want to go first?
Waffle,
apparently.
Go on, Jay.
The floor is yours, Jess. This is one time I want you to talk.
No, listen, I understand what they've done. Obviously, I mean, having worked for the people that now sponsor KZN Racing, everything's based on the American standard and the way that everything was done in Hollywood Park and Santa Anita and all the rest of it. So that's all they're trying to do. They were trying to do something different. I don't know how long it's going to carry on for. In terms of,
they've confirmed that.
I don't know if it is. When I say that, I mean that with respect, because a couple of the guys on the other panels have also said, like the likes of Sean Terry and John O'Snaith. I mean, John O'Snaith ripped into it the other day too. You need something consistent in South Africa. South Africa is a racing jurisdiction. You can't have Greyville and KZN as their own entity. When you study form as a punter from a tote perspective, a bookmaker perspective, and I've always been one to say, whether you walk into a bookmaking shop or a tote and you have a bad experience or you don't understand what's going on, racing loses that punter. Whether it's a bookmaker, a tote operator, a oak on the side of the street selling OTT vouchers, or whatever the case may be, you lose a potential racing punter. So I think it's time that the whole industry were aligned in terms of operators, bookmakers, jockeys, trainers, owners. Everybody needs to understand, in my head, and I don't mean any disrespect to the owners and breeders here who seem to think that everything starts with a horse, and it does. We need horses to bet on, but punters will punt on anything, but they need consistency on what they punt with. I'm against what Gold Circle have done. I think they've tried it. There's been enough negative pushback by industry professionals as well as seasoned punters and punters that spend a lot of money in Gold Circle territory that have stopped punting there because of that. And you are one to actually comment on that, Hilt, because, I mean, your KZN punters, like the back of your hand. You know the guys are not punting as much as they would normally because it's such a minefield to read. So from a practical perspective, I'm against it. From a history perspective, I'm against it. Was it worth a try? Yes. You've got the pushback. I think it's time to go back to the norm.
Sounds like good advice. Alan, anything to add before we close off?
Yeah, no, I mean, when racing, I think it was the 3rd of June, that first meeting back, and, we're all dying for a bet. I remember looking at the card thinking, geez, what the hell's going on here? Because I didn't know about it, I didn't know it was coming up. And I'm looking, going down the card, it's 53 kgs, 56, and there's a 62 and a half, number 10 on the card. And
66.
All over the place. So I agree with you guys. Maybe good to test it, but they need to revert back.
Excellent. Well, guys, thanks. Hilt, sorry, anything?
In the July, this is not even a true handicap. It's a conditions race, basically. You've got
as the guys say, it's a bastard handicap. It's a bastard handicap.
Yeah, there we go. So we should have just discussed this and been done with it because that's all we really need to discuss.
No,
excellent, Hilt. Well, I hope you have a good weekend, gents. I'm really looking forward. I'm going to definitely be watching the show again, and I've taken a few notes as we've gone along. But it's one of those things, I can't remember everything, and I'm definitely going to go through it again. Look forward to seeing you on the Good for the Game forum as well. And yeah, thanks very much. And just a shout out to the guys who joined us. I mean, we only decided to have this show. Hilt and I talked about it early in the week, but we only actually put it up this morning, and we had a good live following, guys giving comments and that. So thanks very much for joining us. And guys, all of you, thanks a lot, and have a cracking weekend.
You guys too. Thanks, Brent. Good to be back. Cheers, Jay.
Thanks, Brent. And just very quickly, if I can just add, because I know I'm waffling, but I like to talk. Especially when I don't get the opportunity like I used to do on Teletech anymore.
Yeah,
Alan, from the 2 shows that I've done with you, much respect. I'll definitely be throwing your selections in. Brent, to you and your team, world class. I like watching the forum and keeping the browser thing. And then Hilton, to you and your team, thanks for obviously, without sponsors of betting shows or people like you coming on board on betting shows like this, with respect, there's no real I won't say credibility, but it just adds a different dimension. So I know you're a busy guy. I know you've got all those empty bottles behind you. I know you need to get on the treadmill later. So for me, thank you for coming on today. It's actually very nice. I mean, you and I've got I won't say a long history, but we go back a long way. We don't keep in touch as much as we need to. So thank you. And then Brent, last comment to you. Please keep your daughter off the road. She almost ran me off the road today coming out of your house. So just tell her little white car with her sitting like this in the steering wheel. She mustn't look like a deer in headlights. She must actually turn and go like this. Go.
And, all jokes aside, coming out of our...
She drove past me today. She was sweet.
Yeah, but all jokes aside, coming out of our complex, it's a parent's nightmare. It's one of the hardest. It's blind spots. It's absolutely terrible and busy. But anyway, I'll certainly give her that feedback.
Today. She was sweet. I'm just teasing.
No,
but
excellent, guys. Good stuff, guys. Thanks very much for joining us. I'm going to just end off with that deposit bonus there at World Sports Betting. Thanks, everyone. Do go down below and hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so yet.